Alright, welcome everybody to episode 13 of 4NZGamers. We've got a new situation today. We've got some people missing, but we've managed to drag somebody in from the sidelines. Our special guest, Gonzalo. I'm Phil Brooks. Over here we've got James Jennings. Hello. And of course, regular Lance Lochner. So, yeah, same formula as usual. We're going to get into some topics, and hopefully you guys enjoy them. If not, don't tune in next time. So,
fair enough.
All right. So I thought I might just start off by talking about a little bit about the week that was, because I thought it was there was some interesting stuff in there. For a start, even hearing about the fact that Hitman's coming out at the end of the year, and it's only coming out as a digital version of the game.
Why?
Exactly, I find it interesting, because we've talked about this before, how the argument of physical cost versus digital and cost and stuff like that, and where our sort of allegiances lie with whether we would always want to fill our shelves with physical copies. But I just thought it was interesting. Hitman or Square Enix is taking the bull by the horns and just saying, "No, here's the game in December if you want it. Otherwise, you've got to wait till next year if you want to buy it physically."
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, because they're going to create a culture of people who just start doing it, I guess. Because I want the game.
The only thing that I would like to know is, are you going to own that digital copy, or is it going to be like Steam that you don't actually own the game?
No. Well, maybe if it was released on Steam, it might be like that.
Oh, but if it's digital, I guess they're going to...
But on Xbox and on PlayStation, it'll be definitely... You own it for life. That's the way those work.
Perfect,
for the life of that console.
Yeah. So, when you say a year away from digital, does that mean you
No, sorry. So it doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be a whole year until the physical release. They've just said that it's coming out in December digitally for anyone who wants to download it, and it's coming 2016 physically. And I don't know what that means. It could be January, could be February, could be March.
Okay.
I just think it's interesting because it sways someone like me who really loves the Hitman series. I want to get that game.
Yeah, but do you want to get it right away, or...?
Well, I guess because I'm going to be inundated with other games, I don't necessarily need to get it right away. But, just for argument's sake, if those other games weren't there, I'd get it right away. I love Hitman. So I would buy the digital one. They've literally forced my hand.
I would see it as a cost factor for production. They might put it out digital and, less cost. They can put the game out earlier. This is just my thinking.
Yeah,
and then just see how that goes. Gives them an idea about how many they have to produce. It just keeps overheads down. I mean, maybe it's a way of just seeing how that works before they actually put it into market.
Yeah, and then maybe they're going to be ready at that time to ship it digitally, but not ready to ship it physically.
Well, it may not have to ship as many
Christmas.
copies as well, because I don't know how many games get returned when they don't sell in the shop.
Yeah, actually, that's true, because it forces all of those original buyers to own a physical copy that they can't then sell.
I think you just nailed something very important.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a shop selling the games.
So you're going to lose the retail value.
So they're going to earn, I'm not going to say 100%, but at least 80% of it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Quite a difference.
It's still still going to be those people like we've talked about before that want that.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that will be a second stage. So they're actually taking the money out of the retail.
Yeah.
You're taking, let's say 50% of the people will get the digital copy because they're desperate about it.
Yeah.
That's a big...
They get all that money, and then they can't on-sell those or trade them back in.
Yeah.
So it means other people who would want to buy second-hand versions, there's going to be less of them out there.
Exactly.
Or 3 months later, when it finally does come out physically, there are no trade-in versions around, so people have been waiting 3 months, but it's still brand new on the shelves.
Mm.
Yeah, it creates an interesting purchase sort of setup, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I just find that interesting. I think it's an interesting way to go. I think they're all going to go that way.
Is this the first time this has been done? I mean, other than the normal digital version of games that Xbox is throwing every...
I'm just trying to think. Because with the release of Xbox One, games have been available digitally to purchase ahead of time so that they can be preloaded on your console.
Well, there you go.
Ready for the release date, and it's already installed sort of thing. But I don't know, do you recall if that's happened before, where a game has been released digitally first, physically later?
I want to say yes.
Yeah, I want to say yes. Yeah. Oh, I can't think of one. But this stood out to me, so... maybe not.
Well, it's actually big, to me, it's big news.
Well, yeah, it is big news.
It might be a game changer.
Where we're saying that a lot of the money goes to the developer, I think that's good.
Yeah.
But also the retailer's losing out as well. So you're gonna have some of those stores almost closing down if this becomes the trend, which is.
Many people always complain about Steam. They say, "Oh, Steam is actually the way that they're going to break the market because you're getting big games that a couple of years later you're getting them for peanuts." But then again, if you chop that part of the market, which is the retail, and then you get all game, then actually you can sell them for peanuts because it's all game. It's all yours.
Yeah. They're not having to sell it at a markup in order to make their
Exactly.
money. They're making it already, sort of thing. Or they can get what they want.
I think the consumer might be winning here.
It is nice to, they might be. It's nice to know that the developer is getting sort of ultimately supported because they're the ones that are going to make the next game.
Exactly.
And we want them to have the money to be able to do that. I feel sorry for, obviously, people like you in your position and stuff like that who may end up losing a job.
I'll be fine.
Oh, no, of course you will be fine. But, I mean, I think you're right, though. I think the future could be that there are no gaming stores.
Okay, so we'll bring that up then. We'll talk about maybe the flip side of that. So retailers possibly going out. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a fan of filling up my hard drive with these games.
Yeah.
That's why I buy physical, because I like to be able to just and also even though a lot of these consoles have 500 gigabyte, 1 terabyte hard drives.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a lot of space for a lot of these games to download. About 60-80 gigs.
Yeah.
So a lot of these games are only getting bigger as well, and they're just filled with a whole bunch of content that it will almost get to the point where I don't know, next console run games are going to be like a terabyte to download.
Yeah, and you need the space for all the DLC that comes out.
All that stuff. So that's why I like to buy physical copies. How do you guys feel about this as a...
Well, I think that's when it's so good for the consoles and also for the PCs. They are going to sell you storage.
Yeah.
And I think the next step will probably be you don't even have it in your console, you have it in the cloud.
Cloud, yeah. Which they do, yeah.
So pretty much you're going to have a console with no storage and everything's going to be out there.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
they're going to charge you for it.
Yeah. Subscriptions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like having physical copies, but I must admit, last night I sat down in my chair, had my controller in my hand, I was like, what game am I going to play? Well, I can't be bothered getting up to grab any of them, so what's on my console? I just ended up playing a downloaded version of Tomb Raider. I was that lazy.
First world problems.
Yeah, totally. But speaking of the cloud, have you guys heard the new information that's come out about Crackdown for Xbox One?
No, what's the new information?
So they showcased the game at Gamescom just recently, and when you're connected to the internet using the power of the cloud, the whole city is completely demolishable, and on a massive scale. And if you're not connected to the cloud, you can't do it to the same extent. Like the cloud basically overclocks the Xbox One and gives it all this extra processing power so that it can do things that you couldn't normally do. It's making the Xbox One pretty damn powerful machine, and just the sheer destruction in this game looks phenomenal. I'll see if I can find some footage and chuck it up during this sequence so you can see what I mean, because it's a game breaker. It looks amazing. And
but does that mean you have to be connected to this cloud, and it almost has to be does that create the sandbox of everything being destructible? So it's like the multiplayer.
It's in the multiplayer. I think it's also in the single player as well.
So if I came in halfway through a match and the whole city's been decimated, how does it start again?
I don't know. I don't really know how it all works, because they were just showcasing the sort of what it looked like, the potential of what this can do. And they themselves actually overclocked it. They said it's not going to be like this in the final version because it'll be too annoying. Actually, like this. We've unleashed the technology to show you what it can do, basically. I just think it's interesting because, not that I want to harp on about it, but if you go back to how the PlayStation 4 is a better console than the Xbox One in terms of its technology, it's interesting to see what this is now going to do for Xbox One, and what does it raise the bar? Does it exceed it? What's this going to do for future games?
And also raising the question, living here in New Zealand, how is the bandwidth is going to go with it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, everybody's doing it through the cloud.
Yeah, it could.
You know, have you heard about Windows 10 the other day that just stopped bandwidth? People were using fiber and they were getting just 2 megs upload because everybody's downloading Windows 10
Yeah,
and there's just no more space.
that's the problem with it all, eh?
That's New Zealand though. That's New Zealand's internet
Yeah.
that they're trying to change, but
But are you saying they were even on fiber connections and they were having
Well,
problems?
they had to restrict the.
Because that's such a... I mean, that's the best connection. That's such a worry, you know? Like,
Well, businesses were complaining because obviously they're paying for that because they need it. They need
Yeah.
it to work, and then they say, "Well, I'm getting only 2 megs.
Yeah.
What can I do?" Sorry,
yeah,
that's all we got.
they're getting throttled.
Yeah, it's just I hope things get better, but I don't know how.
Yeah, well, that's again, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how the cloud sort of works for us moving forward, especially here in New Zealand with our internet.
Does
sort
it,
of
right,
stuff.
sorry, going back onto the cloud thing with the Xbox.
Yeah.
Does that mean the Xbox is sharing processing power with the cloud?
Yeah.
So instead of the Xbox doing so much work, it's leaving it to something else. So they
Yeah.
have to almost share the power at some point, essentially making the Xbox One more powerful.
Pretty much. It's also getting DirectX integration soon.
Oh well.
They're gonna and that'll make the Xbox more powerful as well. Like,
DirectX 12's added lots of capability.
yeah, it's like I think it was Microsoft's plan from the get-go, and I think they knew that, and I think that's probably why they just released the Xbox One as it was. They were happy with the tech because they knew it was going to get all these upgrades and support upgrades later on. Yeah. Be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what the tests are like. You know, when people do those comparison tests, and because people have been complaining about how it's 900p and the Xbox One doesn't do 1080p and all this shit. It'll be interesting to see how if it fucking flips on its head.
I think in terms of the graphics, when Microsoft upgrade the Xbox to DirectX 12, it will hugely make graphics a lot better. It has on my computer. I've gone from API 400,000. You know, I don't know if you know API overheads.
I'm pretending to nod like I do know. Yeah.
So it's how many times that it goes back to the core.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So I did a test through 3D Mark on DirectX 12 because I've got Windows 10 now. 4 million compared to 400,000 per second.
Wow.
So I've got 8 cores. Before when you had DirectX 11, it was running off one. This is my layman's version. So it would only run off a single API core and it would stack it.
Yeah.
So now it's DirectX 12 has the potential to use every single core and stack the graphics using every single core.
Okay, so
The graphics card before only used one of your cores and it used to stack the graphics APIs.
So in relation to say the Xbox One, how many cores does an Xbox One have?
I have no idea.
Because let's just say an Xbox
But-
only has one core, then it's going to have the same problem you were just
Oh, it
talking
won't
about.
have one core. It will have
No,
it'll be
I
a
think it
5.
has
It's an Intel 5.
either
isn't it?
Yeah.
4 or 8 at least.
Okay, and so this would open up the power of the Xbox to be able to utilize all of its cores.
That's right. And so its frames per second will increase, and some of its texture and all that sort of crap. So
Nice.
from the test I've done in 3D Mark, just from my PC, obviously it's slightly different. The increase is huge with DirectX 12. So they've transformed the technology, which actually opens up the technology you've already got, which is silly, right? You'd think you'd design something that actually works with what you've already got years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Basically, we've had it for 2 years. And
Anyway,
it's not-
long story short, hopefully it should increase the power of the Xbox.
well, that's what they're touting. So
Yeah.
I imagine it will. I did have more to talk about, but I didn't expect we'd talk this long on all of that. That was quite good. So perhaps we should wrap that one up and move on. All right. So yes, thank you very much for watching. Also, thank you, Gonzalo, for coming along and joining. You want me to
My
take my hand
pleasure.
if you're
Yeah, bro.
leaving,
It
don't
was
you?
awesome
Please.
having you here.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. No, it was. You were good. And we might just replace James and Dave with you indefinitely. So James and Dave, if you guys are watching this, you're now off the show.
Your face.
Yeah. So if you like what you saw, please support us by liking us or
Please.
subscribing to us or following us and all
Please.
those different social areas. And we might chuck one of these up this week, which is probably the one you've just seen. And we're really busy with other things, so I'm sorry we might not be able to put the rest of them up. But just to let you know, we'll sort of push everything through to the next week, and the rest of what we filmed today will be up then. But I don't really know. We'll see what happens. I might have the time, and you might get
Mystery.
lucky. It's a mystery. But yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned.
Thank
Ciao.
you. Peace.